Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I hope you're having an amazing day. I know I am. Obviously, I do very well and feel better when Bitcoin is doing well. Isn't it funny how there's a correlation there? Anyways, Bitcoin's doing quite nice. We'll take a look at that here in just a second. And just know if you're new to the channel, I am not a financial advisor. I just have years of trading experience. And my goal is to help you become a better trader. That's the reason I created this community. Speaking of community, though, I do actually have a trading community where I teach people how to become better traders. But more importantly, I share signals with my members for every single trade that I take. And I'm often taking, 2 or 3 trades a day. And it's a really cool situation where we can all learn and grow together. It's been very lucrative for everyone. So check that out in your own time. I actually have a descriptive video if you were interested in understanding what that means. That being said, taking a quick look here at Bitcoin just to understand the 4-hour chart. Let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit here. And we just got an X marks a spot here, basically right where the 50-day simple moving average is, and the ascending and descending lines here essentially formed to create a nice X marks a spot where the price bounced, and we're going to see a continuation to the upside now because we have this reverse head and shoulders pattern, right? Oh, let me try that again. Reverse head and shoulders pattern, right? And what it should do is bounce off of 66, retrace to 65, then it'd be off to the races. That's essentially how it works with the head and shoulders. So that's essentially what we're looking at there for Bitcoin. All good things, basically. So for lack of better terms, it's really, really good. And it's causing a pretty good ripple effect here where the market, a lot of things are kind of bouncing back as well. So Luna is no exception. We can see we've had multiple ascending wedge patterns, but more importantly, this one here just broke out. Okay, if we look at the one-day chart, first of all, you can kind of see a little bit more clearly where this line right here, this resistance line, is drawn based on the resistance from these 4 candlesticks, right? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5, where the price could not close above, right? Just it tried and couldn't. Even tried again here on the 26th of October, but now today it finally broke. So in the next 2.5 hours, we can get this to close above this one-day candlestick. That's going to be referred to as a support level, and in turn, that'll cause the price to likely continue to increase from there. Right, we saw it recently with Solana. Yes, that was a cup and handle pattern, but generally speaking, that's significant. That there's a significance in the price breaking an all-time high, especially when Bitcoin is effectively in good, stable condition. We've had some sideways action for the most part from Bitcoin that causes coins like this to take off because they are, gaining a market capitalization. They're absorbing some of that liquidity from Bitcoin and driving the price up. All right, so I wouldn't be surprised when we see this hit a new all-time high very soon because it technically hasn't broken it yet. It pretty much just touched on it. Right around, you could round up and say 50, but like 46.75 is the highest point here so far, which was the previous all-time high. Once it surpasses that, we're going to be in really good shape. The 50-day simple moving average is also trailing behind, which is nice, kind of holding off. Another thing as well is really cool. I like the fact that the RSI is kind of bouncing off 50, moving its way back up to 70 on the RSI there. That's a very good sign on the one-day chart. If we can get that to break 70, we'll be open season here to get some pretty strong gains. So I think Luna's preparing to get pretty cool here in a little bit, right? And when I say pretty cool, I mean like, gains, right? Money in our pockets, hopefully. And, comment below if you got in at a really low point here. I'm surprised and impressed with how many people were able to get into Luna back during the dip around $4. Man, I mean, you're talking 10x already if you got in around $4.50. All right, so okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour. Pretty much the same exact scenario here, for lack of better terms. In other words, we had a MACD convergence on the 1st. It's been kind of ramping up ever since. Let's see if we can mark that. What time was that on? Okay, MACD at 9 a.m. So 5:09 a.m. And I just like to kind of mark this on the chart because it's really helpful to look at the 1-hour chart and kind of see how the Ichimoku cloud correlates. Those are two really, really impressive indicators that kind of give us a buy signal. It doesn't help us now because obviously the price is up, but it does help in the sense that it's something to look for in the future, right? Also note too, right around the same time, the 50-day simple moving average was pushing the price up. So we got a MACD convergence, 50-day SMA is holding the price up. And let's go ahead and take a quick look at the 1-hour Ichimoku and see if there's a correlation. All right, it's close, right? So in other words, during this time frame here, that 8 to 10 hours or 8 to 12 hours of trading, we saw the price break above the cloud and effectively break above over here. So I would say within 4 to 8 hours of the MACD convergence in the 4-hour chart, plus the 50-day simple moving average on the 4-hour chart, those are all complementing factors, right? And then we add this as well, the fact that the price broke above the cloud right here, that would have been a good consideration for a long position. Right? Obviously right here, if you can buy the bottom, but generally speaking, as soon as it breaks above the cloud, you would have still been profitable, even if it's right here. Okay. And the concept there is that there's simple moving averages at play. There's a lot going on with the Ishimoku cloud, but that's just the most primitive, basic way to understand it. Price above the cloud is a buy signal, below it's a sell signal, right? If you can remember anything, remember that. It's really important. Moving on to TD sequential, let's see if we have, I think we hit a reset, looks like. It basically just means that we could have a continuation here. There's been a little bit of consolidation here. So it really just means that we have a chance to be able to see some sideways action and or increase continuing moving forward. So we shouldn't necessarily expect the price to just come crashing down because it's not giving us an indication of that. Yes, this happened right here. That was a significant decrease, but that's because Bitcoin sold off early this morning, and that's that knee-jerk reaction that a lot of altcoins have. Okay, but now it's recovered quickly. The fact that it bounced back within about 2 hours tells me that Luna is in very good shape to effectively be able to continue to the upside. So speaking of continuation, let's just go ahead and take a quick look at a couple more things, and then we'll wrap it up with some Fibonacci. So just want to note the volume profile range here. So the visible range for the volume profile is maxing out, or more common, you could say we have the most amount of volume accumulating around $43. So coincidentally, that's right there at the MACD convergence on the 4-hour chart. But regardless of that fact, the most amount of volume is taking place here. Therefore, that is a very, very strong support level. So we're going to extend this out here just to be on the safe side. And it's no coincidence, right? When the volume profile is effectively on the same level as a support level. It's very, very common for us to see that. So that just reaffirms that this is a strong support. Heaven forbid the price comes retracing back down. I think 43.23 is a strong support level. It might be a good place to consider a stop loss. Just something to think about. All right, so let's go ahead and just take a quick peek at Fibonacci and see where this next little run could take us. All right, let's go ahead and go from here to here. Now this isn't extremely official because this is more short term here, right? This has only really taken place in the last 5 or 6 trading days. So, hypothetically in the next week, what we could see from Luna, if it were to continue to progress upwards, is probably a best case scenario right around 62, 63, right in that range. But I would say if you're going to consider taking profits, or you set a profit target, which you should always do, by the way, before you take entry, is to set it somewhere in the range, and I'm just going to mark this here. I would say right around 60 to 61. Because this is more of a higher side. I would say 60 is more relevant. That's basically a 2x from the lowest point recently. In other words, it's doubling the size of where it's at presently, not necessarily the value. And that would be probably a better case scenario here for Luna. So big picture, I would say 60 is probably realistic, up from 48 right now. But we want to wait and see if the price bounces off of that, the support level here at about 47 before adding to your position, because this is slightly overextended. In fact, why don't we take a quick peek at this here? We're at a 9 on TD sequential, which basically just means that we should experience some type of sideways action or retracement. I'm going to speculate the price will come down, come over here, and then bounce. Solana did the exact same thing yesterday, and now it's up somewhere in the range of 15%. So, something to consider, of course, but there's no guarantee it's going to go up. But just bear in mind, if it does, we have good potential of right around $60. But if it comes back down, just keep this in mind as well. We have a very strong support level here with the volume profile being right at about $43. Okay, so worst case scenario, just say you take entry right now, it comes down, that's only a 10% loss, but you could experience a 20% gain. That's a good risk to reward ratio, right? Correction, 25%. So 2.5 to 1, I think that's worth it. So anyways, that's kind of what you're looking at there, of course, with the potential for Luna. So if you did find benefit here, obviously like and subscribe if you haven't already. Consider joining my Patreon community too, because there is an amazing group of folks there. So thank you to all my community members, of course, for just making this such an awesome experience. You're all very, very much valued by me, and I know your counterparts also, appreciate it as well. So it's a really cool community. Check that out in your own time, of course. But yeah, those signals are starting to flow. It's a really good market right now. I look forward to speaking with you in the next one. I hope you have a great rest of your day.